Hi, and welcome back to the channel. We are continuing Attack on Titan. But before we jump into Season 2, we're going to be watching some OVAs. We have a list where, like the recommended viewing order of some of these OVAs. And mind you, we might not be watching like all of them. I believe there are 8 in total. And we've been recommended to watch at least 6 of those. And we're going to be watching A Choice with No Regrets, part 1 in this video, and then gonna do another one with A Choice with No Regrets, part 2. And then we're gonna be watching the first episode of season 2, and then we're gonna do another OVA, Ilse's Notebook. I think that's the title of that one. And that's the viewing order that we've been recommended to watch, so that it makes the most sense for us and we'll get like the best viewing experience out of it. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm quite curious about the ones that we're going to be watching now, which is I believe they're about Levi, and we're going to go into the past a little bit and see his upbringing, perhaps where he comes from. We already know a little bit about, like, he was some sort of thief,
crime lord,
something like that has to do with crime, like before he joined up with the Survey Corps. So I believe that's what we're going to be seeing in these 2 OVAs. But do you have anything you want to say before we jump into them?
There might be a bit of noise in the background because someone has gotten a pair of new cement shoes upstairs. And also it's very cold and I'm freezing a little bit, so that's why I'm kind of, it looks like I'm really uncomfortable or angry or something. I'm just freezing, man.
Yes. So just the cold, being uncomfortable, neighbors making noise, as per usual. That's how it is here. But let's jump into it. And you can of course always check out our full-length reactions where you can sync up the footage with your own copy of the episode. We also have early reactions for Attack on Titan, where we are several episodes ahead. It's all over on Patreon, and the link is down in the description below. And let's go. Down into the underground. We've heard about this, like an underground city. Oh shit. They got some maneuver gear down there. Well-dressed thieves.
There he is.
There he is. Looking like himself. There's like a Robin Hood sort of a deal. Oh fuck, but it must be sort of safe down there.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so like the version that we're watching right now, it has subtitles for the song.
So now I can actually understand what they are singing.
Yeah, and like both in English and German.
Oh, I was actually I was reading the German one.
Yeah, me too, because that's what they're singing.
Now it's
not German anymore.
It's Japanese, yeah.
Yeah, and there's German again. That's kind of funny actually seeing it, because it can be difficult to hear what they're singing, especially when it's not the language you're used to talking. We're more used to German than Japanese.
I can never understand people that sings
even in Danish
or like classical singing.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea what people sing.
Mm.
I'm also slightly deaf, so it's okay, I guess.
But even though it's an OVA, we still get like the intro that we always get, and it's still the same one from like the last part of season 1.
No regrets.
Regrets.
Can't stop thinking about it when I see it.
Omar coming? No. Okay. The Wire reference.
前回と今回の分だ。あれ？ああ、ありがとう。
Got a little extra.
立体起動装置が手に入ってから仕事が格段にやりやすくなったよな。
I can imagine.
みんなへの分け前も増えた。
増やしすぎたやつもいたように見えたがな。
Of course he noticed.
理由は
高いんだよ薬。
Hmm.
最近値上がりしたしな。足の悪いやつが多いのも日光が足りないせいらしいけどさ。分かってたってどうしようもないよ。
それにしても大金に見えたが。
手切れ金だからあいつは
Oh,
もう無理だ。あとどれだけあれば上に進めるかな。
maybe it's not a question of how much. Hello?
なんだガキか。
床を汚してくれたことは多めに見てやる。今すぐ出て行け。
Stole the bird?
さあのガキ思いっきり噛みつきやがって。
Oh.
捕まえたら俺に一番に楽しませろよ。
Ew.
おい、ここに小汚ねえガキが来たろ。
ここら辺はそんなのばっかりだよ。
あ？
Nah.
てめえらこの辺りのゴロつきが。
どっちが。
かぼっても損するだけだぜ。何しろ11号階段をタダで通り
Wow,
抜けよう。
nice haircut. Nope. Oh shit! He fucking sliced him up.
Wow.
汚ねえ手で触るな。汚れちまうだろうが。
ダメなんだよ。うちは清潔第一だからさ。手洗って出直しなよ。
こいつらやべえ。行くぞ。
So even back then, don't mess with Levi.
迷い込んでたんだ。多分通風口から。だから地上に出してやろうと思ってさ。
お前まさかそのためだけに階段を突破しようとしたのか。
こいつだって地下街なんかより空飛びたいだろ。名前は私はイザベル。
ファーランだ。あっちはリヴァイ。
ファーラン。それとリヴァイの兄貴か。
兄貴。
な、頼む。私も仲間に入れてくれ。ゲー羨ましかった。鳥みたいに飛び回ってさ。
ここにいるなら立体起動より先に掃除を覚えろ。
We keep things tidy around here.
Seems like it, yeah.
So what's gonna happen to those two?
Yeah, and how is it affecting Levi?
Oh. I can definitely understand what this guy's singing.
I still don't think it's entirely. It's definitely an accent.
Are you saying it's not a...
It's definitely not a German person. I can
But
hear
hey.
that much. Yeah.
They managed to free the bird.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
なんだよおっさん。なんか用か。
This guy looks
仕
important.
事を頼みに来た。報酬は弾む。
帰れ。
Fuck off.
すでに前金を支払っているんだがね。
You what?
だが彼のことは知っているはずだ。いや、地上の病院で治療をしなければ仕事の前金だ。話を聞いてもらえるね。
Fuck.
いいだろ
So he's gonna use them for something. Like escorting them above ground, though.
前金は受け取ったか。
う。地上じゃ知らないが、俺たちの世界じゃ人質って言うんだがな。
Yeah.
成功報酬がそれなりであることの証だ。地上の居住権だ。
Well, shit, that sort of sweetened the pot a little bit.
Yeah.
Sweetened the deal.
お前たちがこの仕事をやるやらないにかかわらず、ターゲットは接触してくるだろう。つまり、無関係
The target.
おい。あれ
Oh.
何やってんだ。
すみません。
Oh, so this
Oh.
is... Yeah.
Okay, that's what we saw at the beginning.
リヴァイ、来たぞ。追ってな。
those two are survey corps, not military police.
Which one is Irvin?
I'm expecting for him to show up as well. Yeah. Oh, there he is.
And he liked what he saw.
He looked impressed.
Yes.
Yeah.
お前ら分かってるな。さて調査兵団の腕前見せてもらおうか。
So that's what it's called in this one. Reconnaissance Battalion.
Yeah, I think it just depends on who's
Translating
doing.
it,
Yeah. Oh shit.
Hello there.
よせ周りをよく見ろ。
離せこのチキショー。
リヴァイ
Better give up.
立体起動の腕も見事だった。あれは誰に教わった？
Self-taught, my dude. Easy now.
もう一度聞こう。立体起動をどこで学んだ？
誰にも習ってない。独学だ。
独学だと信じられんな。私の名はエルヴィン・スミス。お前の名は？
リヴァイ。
リヴァイ。私と取引しないか。お前たちの罪は問わない。代わりに力を貸せ。調査兵団に入団するのだ。
断ったら
これまでの罪を考えればお前はもとよりお前の仲間もまともな扱いは望めないだろう。好きな方を選べ。
いいだろう。調査兵団に入ってやる。
Okay. And how was that 20 minutes?
It was 5, right?
10. 10 at most.
At most. But that was part 1. Really enjoyed that. Going back in time, seeing that, yes, he was, in fact, a thief, working with others, doing their little Robin Hood thing there. I don't know if they were like straight up taking from the rich and giving it to the poor, and I know that's not necessarily like the real Robin Hood. That's like the romantic version, romanticized version of Robin Hood. But sort of like that, and you know, making money for themselves, other young people who are underground and who want to get out of this rut and maybe get up to the surface. And you know, looking out for each other, like we saw with this Jan guy who was, he couldn't do this anymore because of his leg. So they were sort of giving him a severance pay, but then he was used later on as sort of a hostage, and to, you know, for these rich assholes to get Levi to do their bidding. Levi and the others. And their names were Farlan and Isabel. Yeah.
Seems like it, yeah.
Seems like it. I definitely have a feeling that those two characters are possibly not long for this world.
No.
Something might happen. There's a reason why they're not part of, you know, the story that we've been following in the real show, or in season 1 at least. And Levi is not talking about them, but maybe that's the first people that he loses inside of the survey call, if they're going to join up as well. Because I have a feeling that they're going to join up as well, same as Levi. And, you know, that's how they're going to get off the hook. And Erwin is just going to take them under his wings, so to say. And then they're going to be, you know, free from this deal that they were making. Or maybe that's going to come back into play. But I'm sort of just thinking, like, what's going to happen, and how is Levi going to lose these two people?
Yeah, it's I can't really see where this is going.
That's a good thing.
I have a hard time figuring out. There's a lot of questions, and I have a hard time trying to piece everything together. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just tired. I don't know.
Yeah, there's not that much to piece together from this one. If you ask me, it's like it's uncertain, like what's going to happen in the next one. We just know that Levi, of course, stays in the Survey Corps and sort of becomes Erwin's right hand man. And then most likely these two people who are with Levi, Isabel, and Farlan, they are gonna die or disappear, or something's gonna happen to them, so that they're not part of Levi's life as much anymore. And that's the only thing that we can maybe surmise is going to happen. But other than that, it's don't really have a clue. And I don't think this episode, gave us anything to sort of pick apart in that way. It's just we've heard about there being this underground city, or at least they wanted to build.
Honestly didn't think that it was like physically underground.
Mm.
I just thought, how you say underground, as in sort of like a
like a subway or
no. Like when you say some underground business, you usually mean like secretive.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that, and like
okay, so it wasn't as literal.
No,
or you weren't thinking about it as being
I didn't think
literal
of it as
underground city.
No, I thought like an underworld thing, like an
yeah, just like for
this
criminals.
Is where, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like this is like a criminal underworld, not necessarily.
And it still
like,
sort of was, but yeah, it was also straight up
much more like physically
an underground
city, like an
yes,
underworld.
And I find that interesting because it does make sense, when they sort of walled themselves off there, the humans, and trying to be safe from
we don't know
the Titans.
If it was people who made the walls, right? We haven't really gotten any.
No, there's the whole thing with at least the very like religious people who like worships the walls. They think that gods made the walls, but they've only been there, the walls, for about 100 years or so, right? Isn't that what we got told in the beginning? So there must be someone who remembers when those walls were raised. We know
that the Titans came along 100 years ago. And we know that there are apparently Titans within the walls.
Probably, maybe, at least from that post-credit scene.
Yeah, and we also, with the snippet about what was he, a miner? Who was kind of like trying to dig through. And I don't know if
that was quite interesting as well.
That ties into this as well.
Maybe. There's definitely way more to the walls and stuff. I was just talking about, it makes sense to me that while, the humans are trying, if they build the walls or not, but at least hiding behind the walls, and then also being like, maybe build underground, because the Titans don't roam around underground. So if we can, if that might be more safe, I get why they tried to do that, and apparently it just didn't work out. It sort of failed, and now it's just poor people living down there who can't make their way to the surface, and some people, like, they never get to see daylight, and that's yikes. I wouldn't want to live underground my entire life. I'm way too fond of like looking at the sky and breathing fresh air, not becoming sick from never being exposed to sunlight, all of that. But it was really cool and intriguing to see that part of the world as well, and the fact that it was an actual underground city. And how they were then living down there, but still very much, we got the classism thing going on, very much so. And
I'm a sucker for stuff like that. I guess I'm a sucker for, and not, it sounds wrong when I say I'm a sucker for, but like
story-wise,
storytelling. And also in real life, I have a severely soft spot for people who are struggling. Like, it hurts so much to know that there's people struggling out there, and shut up. And it's just, interesting, and still very much waiting to see that. So, like, the people say that Levi is so amazing, and he's such a good person,
the best, kindest person in the series.
Exactly, and I'm still waiting to see that slip through, because we've only seen like tiny glimpses of his.
Yeah, but I definitely feel like it's there. He's just has sort of a hard exterior, And he also had this in this one. I was actually sort of expecting for Levi to be maybe sort of a different person at this point in time. And maybe more open or more, happy and smiling. But no, he was still like the same Levi that we know. It seems like very, very, very serious demeanor, very no nonsense, and don't fucking touch him with your dirty hands or he will slice you up.
Yeah, that was really interesting. That whole thing with like they're so focused on like hygiene and how everything has to be clean and stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's an interesting detail.
Yeah, it's just a character quirk. I think so.
Possibly, and also I think Farlan. I think he I almost think that he was the good person of them, or like he was the one he had like the soft heart for people.
He's the one who did the thing with the severance pay.
Exactly, and was trying to explain to Levi just why he did it. And
exactly, and Levi was still like, you gave him too much, so maybe like Levi is gonna get some of the stuff that you guys are talking about. He's gonna get it from this person, and when something inevitably happens to Farlan and Isabel, he's gonna sort of like
take some of their
good qualities and
for the sake of like paying homage to them and
and living on
honoring their memory. It's like taking pieces of them and keeping them within himself, and sort of like I learned this from these people, and I hold that to my heart.
Exactly. We've seen that with characters before in other stories. Like a good example I can think of is, and I know this is like sort of an opposite thing, but in Breaking Bad, whenever Walter White kills someone or encounters someone, he sort of takes their little personal quirks and it becomes part of his personality. For example, with Crazy 8, who wanted the crusts of the sandwich or the toast, wanted them cut off, and then after that happens and after Crazy 8 dies, sorry for spoilers for Breaking Bad, but then Walter sort of adopts that and he always cuts off the crusts. And this is just in the other end of that spectrum, just more loving and not with people like Levi has killed or anything, but just people he cared for, maybe, and he's gonna carry on their memories by sort of adopting something that they did, a quality they have. Is my thinking, at least. But I don't know if there's much more to delve into with this one. Just sort of want to see what happens. Or you have something, at least.
No, I'm just... I love Evan.
Oh, yeah.
He can get it.
It was really cool seeing Owen, just come out of nowhere. And we saw them being chased by the military police. And the reason why I went, wait a minute, that was because I actually saw the capes in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so there is Survey Corps down there, or Reconnaissance Battalion, as they kind of, that's what they translated it into.
Very long.
Yeah, we're just gonna
Reconnaissance Battalion.
We're just gonna keep saying
Corps.
Survey Corps, and that's that's the translation on Crunchyroll, where we are watching Attack on Titan, like the normal episodes. It was just they didn't have the OVA, so we had to get them from like another website, another sort of a streaming service. And with that one, it's just different translations, but it still means the same. It's not like it doesn't change a lot for us. It's just a funny little detail with it is still like the same branch or whatever you want to call it. It's just called something different. So we're gonna keep saying Survey Corps, even if they translated into Reconnaissance Battalion.
But speaking of the Survey Corps everything that happened, kind of interesting to see, because it definitely did not feel voluntary at all, and it actually felt like if I was forced into something like this, I'd be mad as hell, and I would like. So it's interesting to see how they go from being like Levi go from being forced into this and actually becoming like confidant and number one,
willing part of all of this. That's going to be interesting. Is that going to be the choice with no regrets? Making that choice in the end, and I get if you're in front of like two options like that: join the Survey Corps, or being pressured into join the Survey Corps, or just letting the military police make your life a living hell. I know which one I'm choosing, I think. Even though choosing to be a part of Survey Corps, some would call that just straight up suicide anyway, because it's dangerous being a part of the Survey Corps. Well, we'll see in part 2 just what sort of choice this is going to be, if there are going to be any regrets, or like how Levi is going to become a willing part of the Survey Corps now that he's sort of being pressured into it in the end. Do you have anything else you want to?
No, I don't think so.
All right. That's going to do it for this reaction and review of Attack on Titan, OVA Choice with No Regrets, Part 1. That was a mouthful. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and we'll see you as soon as possible. Bye.
Bye.